Let's be real, sending the questionnaire is the easy part. The nightmare starts when the responses actually come back. See, as sustainability professionals, we aren't just financial analysts. We don't just look at numbers. In our world, context and qualitative data usually means way more. You've got hundreds of suppliers. Each one has 10 open-ended questions about circularity, water projects, net zero strategies. Well, we need this information for Scope 3 emissions, for Science-Based Target Initiative, or for ESRS reporting. But analyzing these responses is a manual, exhausting process. Today, I'm showing you how I use Claude add-in in Excel to do the heavy lifting. Reading the comments, analyzing the positions, and generating a scorecard that actually means something. If you want to maximize your output without sacrificing your integrity, this is how you do it. Let's go. Before we jump into the tech, we need to answer two questions. What are these questionnaires exactly, and why is it important to reach out to your suppliers in the first place? Secondly, isn't there a smarter way to do it? I mean, smarter than Excel? If you ask this question, you aren't a sustainability manager. Go out. Joking aside, let's take it one by one. What are these questionnaires exactly? Simply put, it's a set of questions designed to evaluate your supplier's performance across various sustainability areas. Water consumption, circularity, social aspects, and the list goes on. Depends on your industry, your prioritization, and so on. We aren't talking about how to design a questionnaire. But why is it important to reach out to these suppliers in the first place? If you already work in sustainability, you already know the biggest impact in most industries doesn't actually happen within their own operations. It happens along the supply chain. Because of that, the attention has grown and the pressure has increased to cover the parts of business with the highest impact. Makes sense. But where is that pressure coming from? One part would be your customers. They expect you to know exactly who you are working with and how they operate. The most important would be investors. If you have ever filled a CDP questionnaire or looked at Sustainalytics criteria, you know responsible sourcing carries a massive weight. CDP and Sustainalytics, those ESG scoring, actually signals to the capital how sustainable a company is. So for your capital, this is pretty significant. Then we have public reporting. Supply chain transparency has moved from being a good practice or nice to have to a baseline expectation. We can also add carbon neutrality to the list. If you want to verify your net zero targets, you simply cannot do it without including your suppliers along the way. So it's clear these questionnaires are very important to your business. Now, for the second question, isn't there a smarter way to do this? Well, actually, there is. Platforms like EcoVadis and Integrity Next offer exactly this service. But you know what? If you have worked in supplier engagement, you already know that not every supplier is willing to subscribe to those platforms. So what to do? Shall we just ignore part of our supply chain? Hell no. As sustainability professionals, we will always fall back again to that tool, which is correct. Excel. It requires no training, no subscription, and it just works magically. But here is the catch. Once those Excel files are back into your inbox, you're stuck with a mountain of text. You have to read through every single row, try to benchmark subjective answers, and somehow turn those into a scorecard that means something. It's slow, it's inconsistent, and most of us simply does not have the time. That's exactly the bottleneck we are breaking today. With no further ado, let's see the problem in action. I'm going to show you how we can move past the manual mess using Claude and show you how strong the add-in is when it comes to sustainability work inside of Excel. By the way, if you are new here, I break down sustainability workflows and show you exactly how to integrate AI into your day-to-day work. So if you are a sustainability manager, a consultant, or a freelancer, make sure to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss the next deep dive. And make sure to like this video, it really helps. It helps the video reach out to those sustainability professionals who need this to amplify our positive impact. Now let's get back to it. The responses we receive are simply too much. We have a long list of qualitative and quantitative data points from 100 suppliers covering various topics, from circularity to water projects to net zero topics, mainly to be able to report and act upon your Scope 3 emissions, or maybe to commit to Science-Based Target Initiative for your public reporting under the ESRS. What are we going to cover in this video is how you can take these responses to first clean up the data, then perform a quick analysis to understand it better. Then we will cover how to get your strategic overview and insights that will cover the whole supplier responses. And lastly, a deep dive into a specific supplier's performance. So let's get started. All right, let's get started. No complex coding, no IT department required, just simple couple of steps. First thing first, open your Excel, go to your homepage, click on the top right, you'll find the add in square, click on it and look for Claude. Type in Claude. You'll find the official Claude add-in looks something like this. You have to hit add and then continue. Once it's installed, you'll see the Claude icon appear in your ribbon on top. Other thing that to use this, you have to have the Claude Pro or Team account because this isn't a free chatbot. It's really strong engine that reads all your data, it's worth it. You'll see afterward. But once you have your account set up, once everything is downloaded in here, you can click on the sign up once, and you'll have this sidebar always open at your disposal. You can simply chat in here, type in your question about specific analysis or specific missing data. We will go through it step by step. By now you should have it open. You've signed in, you have Claude Pro, so you can just apply. This is a mock data that for the sake of explanation, usually suppliers data that I've worked with before is 100 plus suppliers. Here we have how many? 30 suppliers. We have here the general information, addresses, point of contact, job title, email address and phone number, plus the questionnaire questions, which are, do they have sustainability strategy? What type of certifications do they have? Scope 1 and 2 emissions, science-based target initiative verified, committed or not, how much water they consume, water stress level, and if they have any plans when it comes to water stress and the circular innovation. This is pretty short questionnaire. Let's have a look. Let's try this out. Please make the table look nicer. Also make sure to browse the header and the first column. Thinking this would take a little bit of time because it's not just chatting with AI, it's executing with AI. Wonderful. Just a couple of seconds while formatting. It's better to work with this table than the table we had before. Next, different formatting for the addresses. What I am really interested in usually is to have an overview of the countries and an overview of the region, so I can have an understanding of my water footprint, my carbon footprint among different regions. Where are the hotspots and where to focus on going forward? What I would do is I want you to create two columns with country and region. Use column B. That's it. Let's have a look. France, Europe, Canada, North America, Thailand, Asia, Africa, Germany, Europe, Netherlands, Europe. Now we have country and the region. Now, another thing that I really like to do whenever I look into this type of questionnaires is I have a job title and I would like to understand which department usually respond to those questionnaires. And I don't want to go through each and try to figure out or map those. What I would do is basically based on the job title column, please create a column that is called department, and based on that, right, department. As simple as that. Now, instead of going through this column and really extract or figure out what department, literally in seconds I would have this ready to go. Let's see. Now we have department. You see how many positions we have. Chief Technical Officer, cold chain, supervisor, ESG lead in sustainability, different departments. And now we have department. That's it basically. This is the formatting part. It is pretty easy to make your table look much better. Prepare it for your next analysis, which we will cover the next section. Okay, so far we've done with the formatting and now we are going toward understanding the data. So a quick analysis won't hurt anyone. To save time, I have those prompts created already for the sake of this video. I'll take this one. So I create a new sheet called dashboard, generate tables showing the distribution of suppliers by region and the top 5 countries we are working with. Just to have an understanding of the country region, can't press on this think here. I hope I can move the video, and I can't. And you see how it started working, simply creating supplier per region and per country as we have requested. How nice is this? In seconds, we have our 30 suppliers, which region, Europe 33%, North America, Asia. These are the top 5 countries. US has 20% of the total, and Australia with 6.7. We jump back to, we would like to understand further how many of those suppliers have sustainability strategy, how many have what certificate, the science-based target initiative, etc. So the prompt is as follow, and let's go. In the dashboard sheet, so the same sheet, using the same sheet, analyze how many suppliers have a sustainability strategy, science-based target, water goals, and circularity goals, including a distribution of these operating in high stress area to focus on those. And fortunately, I have to do this. Let's have a look. This is magic. It is really powerful. Like, the first time I've used it, I was shocked how powerful it is. Honestly, if you haven't used Claude add-in and you use Excel, you depend on Excel, this is a lifesaver. Sustainability strategy. Status, yes or no, number of suppliers, and the percentage of total with a nice illustration to just make a visual dashboard that looks amazing. Validated, committed, and no, they have nothing. Looks good. I have only 7 suppliers in extremely high and high region. And look at this. Well, it gives us a rating. 76 to 100, 51 to 75. Then I have the circularity in here where I see active innovation is, my suppliers are looking into the circular world, which is great. If you have your own policy, your own strategy, you can just give it to Claude that it basically depend on it. But look at this nice dashboard. Well, you'll get a full understanding of the whole thing in a matter of minutes. That's insane. We've created a pretty good supplier dashboard, but that would take us an hour to create it, to make it look fancy, depend on how good you are with Excel. But this is basically basic overview that requires some formulas, right? It's not that impressive. But what we'll do next is high-level strategic overview. And here what I would do is take this prompt here. What I want to do is basically out of this table I have, what I want to understand is a high-level overview. I want to understand if there are any red flags within the supply chain. I want to understand what is actually the status of those projects, that the plans and projects that they are talking about, and how do they correlate to one another. For example, those suppliers in high stress area, I want to ensure that they actually have a good water stress plan. Here, circularity. So we started with a new tab. So now we have the table, the dashboard, and the circularity. And let's have a look. Well, look at that. Section 1, key metrics at a glance. And then circularity and water. Imagine you have biodiversity questions. You have social aspect questions, you have carbon neutrality questions. You would have a pretty impressive dashboard that give you really insights that you can basically, rather than creating it, you can just check if it is 100% accurate or not. Let's see, it also provides us with how many leaders we have, how many mid-tier, and how many lagging. So I have to focus on these, I guess. Then we have, when it comes to high stress area, we have 7 out of 30 suppliers where we need to focus on. Mega users. We have 2 suppliers that are mega users. Let's go back to the table and check this. We have mega users. Let's see how many. So remove that. You see, we have those big numbers. Those are the mega users. Let's go back here. Let's see the trends. Wide performance gap. The top 10 suppliers average to 90% of waste diversion, while the bottom 12% is less than 35. Byproduct valorization is the dominant innovation theme. So now I have an understanding of what is the most looked at innovation when it comes to circularity. Let's have a look at the water. Extreme SKU and waste in water consumption, 2 mega users, and provided those users. I didn't even have to check. Water stress is concentrated in agriculture and food processing, 4 out of 7, high, extremely high. I mean, that's just amazing. Then let's see the red flags. Those are the suppliers with red flags and what risk area we have. So imagine you have a longer list of suppliers plus a wider range of questions. This is a lifesaver. And why is it here? When it comes to waste diversion, it's very low. And when it comes to water stress, it is very high. And you know what? No formal water plan despite extremely high stress. Well, this is questionable. I would go and check that supplier. And that's how it looked like. The leaders. Now you have the leaders and why they are leaders. Circular innovation. Where are they when it comes to water? We have collaboration and opportunity, where we can actually collaborate. Strategic recommendations, and they provide us with 8 recommendations. And this is simply, I just provided a simple prompt that give us those recommendations. What I would actually do is ensure that in my prompt, I provide some context. I provide my policy, my sustainability standing, some information about what I am mostly interested in. So those recommendations are actually aligned with my environmental policy, with my sustainability position. Well, the last and best part actually is this one. I have 30 suppliers here. What I want is an ESG scorecard or supplier sustainability scorecard, and I want to create this scorecard for each supplier. So whenever I have the chance to talk to the supplier or talk to the category manager or talk to our sourcing counterpart within the company, that I highlight what are the best practices they do. Maybe they can share it with other suppliers, but also to talk about the risks and the possible improvements that we see as sustainability professionals within the supply chain. And to do so, I can really simply go to, let's say, Supplier ESG scorecard. It is also a simple prompt. What I would suggest always to provide some context, but let's have a look. So the prompt is generate a concise ESG scorecard for EcoPack Solutions, the supplier, based on their questionnaire responses. Highlight the strongest sustainability actions, any critical red flags, areas where we expect more progress and specific support we can offer. So I would like to have an EcoPack scorecard, and here we go. It will basically provide this scorecard in seconds. How nice is that? Headquarter, region, sustainability strategy, yes they have. Scope 1 and 2, water use, waste diversion, contact, email, certification, science-based target. This is just a quick profile. Then they've provided the strongest sustainability actions. I mean, this is just nice. Well, they are best in class when it comes to waste. They have genuine circular innovation. They develop 100% post-customer recycling. I mean, this is pretty nice for cardboard casing. So that's something. Top tier ESG certificate, EcoVadis Gold. Makes sense. Validate science-based target. Critical red flags, okay? Science-based target year 2050. Despite having validated status, the 2050 target is the latest permissible year. I mean, yeah, if you count it as a red flag. Scope 1 and 2, they are 4th highest emitter across the 30. That's actually, I would count this as pretty good outcome, that one of the top 5 suppliers actually have net zero, science-based target, initiative, validated status, which is great. Areas where we expect progress, accelerating science-based target initiative. Again, this would depend on your environmental policy, your code of conduct, your supply engagement, responsible sourcing kind of strategy. But these are good outcomes from a general prompt. Carbon reduction roadmap, water resilience plan, because there's no water management plan reported, not applicable, because they are in low stress area, I guess. Then support we can offer, provide some information in here. I mean, this is just Amazing. If you haven't used Claude add-in for sustainability, you must go there. Look, this isn't just a cool trick. This is a massive use case that directly solves one of the biggest bottlenecks in our industry. We've gone from a mountain of messy, unreadable text to a clean, actionable strategy in the time it takes literally to grab a coffee. But as I always say, the AI is just the engine. You are the driver. You are using this tool to amplify your expertise and not to replace your judgment. Honestly, I would like to hear from you. What do you think and what would you like to see next? Where do you think AI can help reclaim some of our time to focus on actual impact? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I read them all. I have 3 comments in every video, so I will read your comments, reply to you. And if you want to see more practical, real-world examples of how integrating AI into sustainability work, check out this playlist somewhere here. And until next time.